What is going on, everyone? It's Justin here, and today I've got a video showing you around 10 pieces of tech that I'm very excited about and have used in my everyday life, whether it is for production, entertainment, and even in the kitchen. And some of these items are newer than others, but because the past couple months and even right now we're kind of in like that midway point of the year where there's not any major tech releases, I decided it might be a good time to take a look at tech that I personally love. And whether it is the Apple XDR display that I was very skeptical about but absolutely love, or even the kettle that has a bit of technology in it, or the Sonos Arc that is in my bedroom and blends perfectly with the wall. If you guys want to win an item from this video, just make sure you subscribe to the channel, follow me over on Instagram at justin.tsc, leave a like on this video, and comment your Instagram username down below, and I'll be picking a winner in 2 weeks. This video definitely has a little bit of everything, so let's just go ahead and get started. So aside from the Apple XDR display, the one item that I would say I was the most excited to add and I'm very happy with is the new Sonos Arc speaker. I did get this unit early, but I actually purchased a second unit myself because I loved it so much. But this is their update to the Play Bar that had been around for I think 7 or 8 years now. But this update right here is available in a white and black, and as you guys can see, just on looks alone, it blends into my wall perfectly and the wires go through the wall. They also have like a wall mount for it that has it nice and flush, and it just looks so good. Most importantly though, it sounds great. It's got a total of 11 drivers and it also has Dolby Atmos support. So the sound quality for TV and music is amazing. I use it to watch like sports and stuff, movies on Netflix, TV shows. There's also like a speech enhancement mode. But beyond that, I also have 2 Sonos One speakers in my bedroom. And the way I have it set up is that those 2 serve as part of the surround setup, and I have it tuned so that when I'm sitting in the middle of my bed, it is tuned perfectly, and I set it up and I did the whole like calibration process with that, and I definitely recommend that as one of the tips if you have a Sonos speaker. If you're looking for like one all-in-one speaker for music and TV, it does deliver quite a nice surround experience standalone, and it also has some smart homes such as Amazon Alexa and Google Assistant, which I personally don't really use at all, but as like a speaker itself from a sound quality standpoint, I have been very impressed. This is the 10th Sonos speaker that I've added to the place, and I absolutely love like the whole ecosystem setup. And although it is quite expensive to kind of invest into, once you have that sort of ecosystem, you just start adding them here and there. So now we move into the kitchen, and here is a Stag Keg Kettle. And this is like a new addition that I waited months and months for because it was out of stock in this walnut color. And as you can see, it kind of just like blends into some of the accents in my kitchen, and I think it looks amazing. But on top of that, from a tech side of things, it has a lot of features as well. It is definitely not the cheapest in its category, and some might think it is outrageous to spend 150 American dollars on a kettle, but I can say that almost all of my friends who love making their own coffee have this and have no regrets. And what makes it unique is that it is just very easy to use, and to set your temperature, just go ahead and set it on the dial. You can have it in Celsius or Fahrenheit. In Canada, we use Celsius, and there's also an option that can hold the temperature for 60 minutes. So to use it, just pour some water in here, obviously, turn it on, set your temperature, decide if you want it to hold, and it will give you like a live temperature meter as it climbs up. And I found that it is also very fast. Obviously, beyond the functionality, it just looks incredible. It has like the stainless steel finish. As someone who is very new to kitchen tech, I think this is definitely something that I can really recommend if you make your coffee every day. So as you guys probably noticed by now, I make videos for a living, and when the Apple Mac Pro came out, I immediately purchased that to give it a try and see if it was worth it, and it has become my main computer for everyday operations, and everything essentially relies on that. One item that I didn't initially buy though was the Apple XDR display because it was just so expensive, and after spending all the money on that Mac Pro, I decided that it just wasn't really needed. But the whole time I was a little bit like curious about it, and I really wanted to see for myself as to whether or not this display lives up to the hype. I can tell you though that as much as this sounds crazy, I believe that this display is actually worth it, and I love it. There's a few reasons why, but the main one is that it is so bright. It is 1000 nits sustained and goes up to 1600 nits. So being in a room that is next to a window, on my previous display, which is around 300 to 350 nits, it just wasn't able to sustain brightness, and it made it hard for color correction during the daytime in a bright day. It also has a 1,000,000:1 contrast ratio, HDR support, 10-bit color depth, and although to like the average consumer, I will never recommend going and buying an XDR display, for any like video professionals out there who spend like 7-8 hours a day on a screen and editing footage, like in our case, the red raw, then I feel like for color correction, this display has actually made a difference in the quality of content that we put out, from a video standpoint at least. It is able to give me like the most accurate representation in terms of colors. And when it comes to making content for company use or for YouTube, it essentially is going to look the worst or the most unforgiving on a display like this. And when you look at it on any other display, it is just gonna look so much better because this display literally shows every single flaw in your content in the most accurate form. So another piece of tech that I added recently is called the Philips Hue Play Bar, and it isn't just to like have some ugly things stuck on the back of this expensive monitor, but in fact it actually does have a functional use as well beyond just looks and being able to set it to any color I want. So when it comes to video editing in a lot of color labs, they have something called bias lighting, and that is to set the room at a 6500 Kelvin, like a very cool setting, to be able to allow the eye to calibrate to accurate colors, and that is especially useful when you're color grading. So I have a gray wall right here, and with this at night, it is able to just kind of neutralize things and also not make it so that the display is too hard on the eyes because it is super bright. So right now I have it in the office setting, which is the 6500 Kelvin, or the coolest option that the Hue light can go, but I can also set it to like different hues and play around with that, just like any other Philips Hue bulb. I can set it to any color, and I also picked up this remote right here that doesn't actually need a battery, and by pressing on one of the presets, I'm able to just go ahead and turn it on and off, change the different colors, switch to different modes. 3 of them is kind of crazy. You probably only need 1 on the back of your monitor, but in this case, because I want it to kind of fill up the room when I'm using it for bias lighting, I picked up 3, and it has this adhesive material that is stuck to the back but still very removable. One item that did come out in the last couple months is the iPhone SE 2nd generation, and I believe this is one of the best values for any smartphone on the market. Of course, there's like the OnePlus Nord that just came out, but it is not exactly coming to this region. Whereas the iPhone for $399 in the US, you get some of the main specs that are seen on the flagship 11 and 11 Pro. It's got the latest and greatest processor, which is essentially like the backbone of the entire setup, but some of the improvements in the camera as well, despite using an iPhone 8 sensor, are impressive considering the price point. Whether it is for photo or video, for $399 in the US at a starting price point, I feel like this phone for any like student out there or for your kid is a great value. This kind of transitions into the next cool piece of tech though, because it is a great value and also extremely portable, and that is the Zhiyun Smooth X gimbal. As you guys can see here, it is very portable and it is actually versatile as well, because you can also extend it out to use as a selfie stick, but it also works in 2 different configurations just with the press of the button. So as you can see, I can go from portrait to landscape, and this is essentially a smartphone gimbal to allow you to do cinematic video on your device, and it comes in at a price of just $59. It does have your joysticks and controls directly built in, and by double tapping on the mode switch, you're able to jump between that. But with the Zhiyun app, you can also switch between video, photo, slow motion, time lapse, and all these different things. Beyond just a general stabilization, you also have an object tracking mode that allows you to draw a box around a moving object, and by setting the gimbal down, it will actually move and track it to keep it in frame. So whether it is an object or human, it actually works very well. And also have manual control over some of the video features while working in conjunction with the gimbal. And even though the stabilization in smartphones are getting much better, you're still not gonna get that like cinematic look unless you use a gimbal. And with Zhiyun being a company that has a lot of experience in that field for large cameras and everything, they're one of the best companies to make this type of product. And I feel like for $59, you just can't go wrong with a combination like the iPhone SE2 that comes in at a price of $399 and can also record 4K. And when it comes to stowing it away and traveling, it is very, very easy. And as you can see, it folds up nicely and just throw it in your backpack or pocket and you're good to go. So as you guys can see from the example of the footage, it is very effective. And if you guys want to check it out, I'm going to drop a link down below, and a huge thanks to Zhiyun for sponsoring this video. So another product that I've had for a couple months now, and that is in the audio category, is the Microsoft Surface Headphones 2. And I haven't had a chance to try out the original ones, but from the start, I noticed that one thing was apparent, and that they look amazing. Just very minimal and goes in line with all Microsoft's product designs. But this right here is a second generation, and not only did they make it more affordable, but it also has some new features as well, and it comes in this beautiful matte black color to go with the computers that are also available in matte black. So this right here is like a pair of headphones that is noise canceling, so you can listen to music, take calls, the typical stuff that you do with headphones, but they're fully wireless. So just go ahead and put them on. And I can tell you that after listening for like a couple hours, they still feel very comfortable on the ear. And I also noticed the sound quality was quite good as well. And being someone who's trying out a Microsoft headphone for the first time, I wasn't really sure what to expect, but I can say it is solid and is comparable to products within the same price point. And I can say the audio quality is solid for the price point of around $300 for a wireless set of headphones that have noise cancellation. So if you're looking for like a good product to use while traveling, then this might be for you. There's actually 13 different levels of active noise cancellation, and you can adjust that by using the touch bar on the left side. And on the other side, you also have controls for the play, pause, and the volume. So yeah, you've got 20 hours of battery life on this, and the only disadvantage I would say is that they're definitely not the most portable, but they do also include a nice hard shell case for transportation, so you can still throw it in your bag and everything. But like I said, because of the lower price point this year, I can really recommend these, and I think they look very awesome if you want to use them in the office or on the plane. So when it comes to laptops, you guys probably know that traditionally I am a Mac guy. I had the MacBook 16-inch before I sold it to get the Mac Pro. I picked up a MacBook Air for portable use, but this is actually the most powerful laptop that I have and use at the moment, and that is the Razer Blade Studio Edition. I honestly just have too many good things to say about this computer, both on the spec and design side of things. And we know Razer to be a company that is great for gaming stuff, but this is actually made more for like productivity, graphics, whether you're doing like 3ds Max, After Effects, video editing. And that is because its headline feature is the NVIDIA Quadro 5000 RTX GPU. That has 16 gigs of GDDR6 video RAM. On top of that, you also got an i7 8-core processor, and my model has 32 gigs of RAM, and just everything about it screams amazing spec. And also not to forget, it's got a 100% DCI-P3 color gamut coverage, so for anyone who's doing graphics, this is like an absolute dream, and it just looks so good. You can see it's just well machined, and the way it's like carved out of aluminum and the whole like silver look, very clean, very professional. It does come in at a pretty high price if you spec it out, but I just can't really find anything that I don't like about it. Just like the overall experience of power, display, speakers, keyboard, and hardware is all there. So because the podcast is an area that I've spent a lot of time on in the past couple months, we couldn't forget about the studio and some tech items that are associated with it. So I've narrowed it down to two, with the first one being the Roadcaster Pro from our Aussie friends over at Rode. So this is actually a very popular interface. It is like the all-in-one system that our entire podcast runs on. Whether it's 1, 2, or 3 microphones, they're all plugged into here, as well as an outgoing and incoming stream from our Zoom guest over on the computer. So they can hear the nice audio that is coming out of these microphones. We can hear them as well, and it all records onto separate tracks on a micro SD card, so I can either change the levels, mute, or optimize certain tracks depending on the audio quality. So starting from this side right here, I can control the gain of each speaker. Whoever speaks louder gets turned down a little bit. And you can also customize the settings when it comes to microphone, levels, voice, and the advanced features, and kind of tailor it to the person that is speaking. In addition to that, you can also change the levels of the USB stream that is coming in, and you can also have a guest via your smartphone because you can connect it via Bluetooth. So those are just like main features that are very important, I believe. And on the other side of things, there's also some of your custom presets for your intro and the outro. And other than that, I feel like there's like a lot of different little features that we can talk about. But in this case, just as like a general all-in-one system, if you're really serious about your podcast, I feel like this is like an all-in-one hub, and with just like a couple minutes of tinkering around, I was able to get it up and running. The other side of things is more on the production side, but these are the NAND lights behind me, and these are really good for recording videos because you can take them anywhere. For the Porsche Taycan video, I would have them in the interior or underneath the car. They run on battery, and it gives you about 2 hours of juice, but for the podcast situation, we have them plugged in at the bottom and powered at all times. But it actually allows you to set it to any color that you want in the RGB spectrum, as well as different Kelvin values. So for this set specifically, we have it at 5500 Kelvin to match the softbox right there. And we have it set to about 2 to 3% in brightness, just so it doesn't overpower the entire set. But as you guys can see, the 4 and 2 foot option and kind of the offset just gives the set like a very unique look, and people always like ask about it. So yeah, I would say if you're into production and you record a lot of video, then this is definitely something that you want to invest in. They're definitely not cheap, but compared to some of the other options that I've seen and for the functionality that you're getting, I believe it is very worth it. So I usually just have these on the wall, but when I'm like doing a shoot or something, I'll just take them off the wall and pack them up in the carry case that is included. So when we're talking about new technology, we can't forget about cameras, because no matter what time of year it is, there's always a new camera coming out, whether it is from Canon, Sony, or Red, or whatever it is, Blackmagic. But this camera right here is the new Sony ZV1, and if you guys remember last year, Sony and Justine hosted a camera camp in Montana, where essentially every single creator in the video, photo, and tech realm, and rumor has it this camera came from that because it has all the features that any kind of YouTuber would wish for in a portable camera setup. It is just so small, but it also has the full flip out display, which people have wanted for a long time, a full 3-inch in size. You've also got face tracking, autofocus, and even a product mode where you can have it track the product and autofocus to that if you would like it to. But another small area of detail that they also remembered was audio, and it has a great microphone that is built in and even includes a windscreen. So as someone like myself who's done a lot of travel films in the past, obviously this year that entire series is sidelined, one of the things that I felt like I was always missing was a bit of personality in the videos, and that is just because I want to take my big camera everywhere, and there's only so much that you can capture with that. So with a camera like this that is compact in size and can go anywhere, what I like about it is that I can also grade the footage quite easily because it has S-Log and HLG compatibility, so I can kind of try to match it to the best of my abilities to the main cinema camera. The only thing that I don't like about it is that it has a 24-70 lens. I would have liked to have seen a wider one, but other than that, this camera is essentially everything that you could wish for as a starter YouTuber or as an aspiring vlogger. So this is just like a general vlogging test on the Sony ZV1. As you guys can see, I'm in the office right now. The only thing I would say is that the lens is not as wide as I would like it to be. It's a 24-70, so I'm holding this out like as far as I can. I definitely don't have the longest arms, but it is a bit hard to stay in frame, and as you can see, if I hold it at like a natural height, my face pretty much takes up the entire thing, which I'm sure nobody wants. But here's also a test of like the audio and the sound quality from the built-in. Let's go ahead and check out the product mode as well. The next piece of tech that I also picked up a couple months ago that I was also a little bit skeptical about, but I feel like is worth it, is the Apple Magic Keyboard. And as someone who's used the iPad Pro since it came out in 2018 and didn't upgrade to the 2020, I feel like this essentially gave my iPad a bit of a new life to it, and I found myself using the tablet in general a lot more with the keyboard. It just makes it more of a laptop experience because the software is still very much a mobile experience, and whether it is typing on a mechanical switch that has 1mm of key travel and the scissor setup. The pass-through charging is also a great feature to have, and in general, the backlight is just kind of what brings it together and makes it worth it in my opinion. Being a first-party accessory, it is definitely more expensive than you need to spend on a keyboard, but as someone who uses my iPad a lot and types on it and everything, I just like the fact that it is very comfortable to use and the trackpad also works quite nicely. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and this is kind of like an alternative to a series I used to do, which was the unboxing haul, where I kind of opened stuff and gave it a quick overview. But instead, these are products that I received in the last couple months and have tried out, some of which I purchased myself and have really come to enjoy and have had some time to use it and give you my opinions. So if you want me to do this like maybe once a quarter or once every few months, I'll definitely look into that, and I'll see you all in the next video.